Hello, welcome to Bob's Dungeon. My name's Bob, I'll be your host. And at the time of recording this video, it's the month of July. And there's a lot going on this month. First off, for those of you that are fans of G.I. Joe, the G.I. Joe community on YouTube is celebrating what they call Cobra Convergence. And this year, it's the 7th year of Cobra Convergence. And what it is where the G.I. Joe fans get together and celebrate G.I. Joe's greatest enemy, Cobra. And if you're interested in that kind of thing, I suggest you look up the channel HCC 788 because you can find more information on it there. Also going on in this month, Professor Dungeon Master from the Dungeon Craft channel has declared this Independent Game Month, in which he's urging content creators to take a look at some independently published games, or games that just don't have the popularity that games such as Dungeons and Dragons might have. So that's more in keeping with this channel. So that's the route we're going with. And what we're going to look at, I was kind of saving till closer to Halloween, but we'll go ahead and look at it now. And what we're going to look at is The Ghost Hack. This book has 57 pages and a copyright of 2015. It was published by Jonathan Rowe, and all of the artwork in this book is in black and white, and it's pretty decent. So let's go ahead and look at that artwork. All of the artwork in this book is in black and white. And it's pretty decent artwork to look at as well. There might not be a lot of artwork in this book, but what there is sets a proper tone and mood for this game. To use this book, what you're going to need is, of course, a copy of this core rule book and a full set of dice. A full set of dice containing a 20-sided die, a 12-sided die, preferably two 10-sided dice for rolling both percentiles and tens, an 8-sided die, a 6-sided die, and a 4-sided die. This book is pretty small. It's pretty thin, but it's got all the rules you need to play the game. It's based off of the Black Hack, hence Ghost Hack. And what that is a very simplified, scaled down version of the D20 or old school system that everybody's used to. And character creation in this game is very simple. You have your 6 attributes, which are dexterity, strength, constitution, intelligence, charisma, and wisdom. And the way you figure them up is, of course, you roll 3 6-sided dice, add them together, and place them in the attributes as you go. A variation that this book uses, though, is if you roll an attribute that is 15, 16, or 17, then the next attribute you roll will be rolled at 2d6 plus 2. And then you go back to your regular 3d6. Now, should you roll an attribute that is 7 or lower, then the next attribute you roll will be rolled at 2d6 plus 6. And then it goes back to your standard 3 6-sided dice. And if this should come up again, then you use the same system as it goes. And that's your attributes. And you then pick a class. And the classes in this game are Banshees, Nightmanes, Poltergeists, and Revenants. And each of these classes will give you certain aspects for your character. They'll tell you how much damage you do when you make an unarmed attack and how much damage you do when you make an armed attack. It'll give you how many hit dice you gain per level. It'll give you your starting ghostly abilities and powers. And it'll also tell you just things about your character that you'll need to know. You then pick a mortal coil, and your mortal coil is stuff like people you knew, places, things, stuff that would tie you back to the mortal world so that you'll be able to cross over. You also pick an idea form. An idea form is what you picture yourself looking like in your prime, and that's what your ghost looks like, because you're playing a ghost. You also pick a charnel form, and what this is it represents you being dead. It'll be rotted, it'll bear the marks of how you died, it'll just be messed up looking. Could even, in some interpretations, look demonic. At any rate, usually you in your idea form, but there are certain things in this game that'll force you into your other form, and that's kind of cool. It explains it in here what form you're normally in, and this game utilizes something called the usage die, and the usage die is certain things that use ammunition and certain powers in this game will have a usage die, meaning there's only so many times you can use it. And the usage die could be a 4-sided die, a 6-sided die, an 8-sided die, a 10-sided die, and a 20-sided die. And anytime you use that power or something that uses that ammunition, you roll the usage die. And if you roll a 1 or a 2 on that usage die, then the die drops to the next lower. A 20-sided die would become a 12-sided die. A 12-sided die would become a 10, would become an 8, and on down the line till you get to the 4-sided die. If you roll a 1 or a 2 on it, then either your ammunition is depleted or you just don't have access to that power for the time being. And it explains how to get those powers back once you used them up. Certain dice, usage die in this game, will actually go up though. Dice like your grave die. And that could be a bad thing. And when you use your grave die, you're trading off against some pretty potent stuff. But usually that's to save your soul usage dies. And it explains it all in here. You can also get what's called a soul crystal and store soul fire in it. And you can spend those points instead of your soul usage die points. So it's got rules in here. It explains it all better than I could. The combat in this game pretty much works the same as in regular D20 games. The difference is instead of rolling a 20-sided die against an enemy's armor class, you make a strength check for a melee or hand-to-hand attack and a dexterity test against a ranged attack. If you succeed, you hit. If you fail, you miss. And then your class tells you how much damage you do. And that's pretty simple. Like I said, they simplify everything in this. And it's got a list of different ghost powers in here that you can acquire and tells you what levels you need to be to gain certain amounts of ghostly powers and abilities. So that's pretty nifty. It's got a blank character sheet for you to copy and use. It's got a list of equipment. I know that sounds weird for ghosts to have equipment, but the truth is sometimes you can take it with you. And it explains it a little bit in here. And it's very light on actual setting and story. There's a supplement for this book, which we'll look at in another video, which goes more in depth for the world for this game. But this is just mostly the rules and to get you going. And that's pretty much it. This game is a lot like Wraith the Oblivion from White Wolf, only massively simplified. If you were ever interested in playing Wraith the Oblivion, this would be something you should check out if you think Wraith the Oblivion might be too complicated. But this brings me to 3 questions. would I play a character in this game? And I'm gonna have to say yes. I like Wraith the Oblivion, and so playing ghosts is something I'd be into. So yeah, I'd play a character in this game. Would I run this game? And I've run Wraith the Oblivion before, and I enjoyed it. So yes, I would enjoy running this game. There's something about the players already being dead that just is really cool. Would I recommend this game? And I'm gonna have to say yes. It's a very simple game. It's pretty inexpensive. If you can pick up a copy of it, I'd suggest it. If you're ever interested in playing Wraith but not sure if it's for you or not, this would be a great alternative for you to check it out. And thank you for joining me at a look at this book. And hopefully you'll join me next time where we'll talk about something else. Bye.